Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Robert and I'm back with another video, and in today's video I want to talk about how we can find better items on eBay, Craigslist, OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, any of our local marketplaces where we're finding items that other people are selling and identifying value that's being left on the table so that we can then turn around and sell those same items for more money. It's great. I do a lot of thrift store hunting and there's always deals to be found in thrift stores, but a lot of times we can find items that are really high value just from the comfort of our own home, order these things on eBay or meet up with people locally and then turn around and sell those exact same items for a lot more money. The key to this is that you have to have just a little bit more information about that item than what the person does that's selling it. And you're trying to identify people who don't truly know the value of what they have. They have probably a little bit of an idea, but they're missing one or two key components that really set that item aside, make that item special and sought after, and separate it from similar items where they may be looking at, okay, this item seems to be selling for about this much. They list it for the same, not realizing they actually have something that's much better than that. So I've got a couple examples that I was going to show you guys today, but you know, this would go even for something as common as like Ralph Lauren. You have Ralph Lauren with a lot of different labels attached to it, and some of those labels are very common and very inexpensive, and then you have like Ralph Lauren purple label, which is very sought after and increases the value significantly. Well, if somebody just knows Ralph Lauren and they don't know anything else about the labels or what makes one piece much more valuable than another, they're going to leave money on the table. They're not going to recognize that value. So this video is really focused on how we can identify that, and it is definitely going to involve you knowing your items. So you know, there's always research to be done. Ideally, we're going to be talking about things that you can apply to the things you already like to sell and start utilizing it to just maybe be able to source better. So here's a really good example, and I think this works well with vintage clothing and vintage items in general. I'm going to show you guys another piece that I picked up here locally that's kind of a similar situation, but when we're dealing with items that are vintage or older, you're going to have a lot of people that will go on, they know they have something vintage, and they just put vintage jacket. Or like in this case, they might put vintage Arizona Cardinals jacket. Well, that's fine, but that's leaving a lot of money on the table. If we go and we get a little bit more specific, we're going to put on here that this is a vintage Logo Athletic jacket. Logo Athletic is the brand, and Logo Athletic is one that's quite sought after. Even more specific to that, there's things about this specific jacket that are even more unique. So this one here, it says the Phoenix Cardinals on it. Well, when the Cardinals moved their team to Arizona, it was only about a 6-year period before they changed it to the Arizona Cardinals. So we know that this is made somewhere between 88 and 1994 because of that. And then the most significant little detail here with this jacket is actually this pattern on it. And this is really where I want to hone in on the fact that if you don't know exactly what you have and you don't list that detail on eBay in your listing, somebody else that then goes and takes that jacket from you at whatever price you sold it and includes that 1 or 2 specific words may be able to get 3-4 times what you actually sold it to them for. So in this particular instance, we have a jacket from Logo Athletic, vintage 90s, all things that we'd want to put in our listing. But the most important keyword here that we'd want to put is shark tooth, because that's the specific pattern that's actually on this jacket. This pattern is called shark tooth. It's something that you'll find on Logo Athletic 90s in a lot of their jackets and a lot of their hats. Regardless of the team, that pattern was a recurring theme. There's other patterns too that were used by Logo Athletic. There's one that's called paint splash. It looks like a big splash across the side of the jacket or across the hat. But people that collect these are often looking for very specific patterns. And if you just put vintage Logo Athletic and you don't add this, then you're leaving money on the table, like guaranteed. So as we're trying to identify items that we can go buy and then turn around and sell them, what I would want to do is I wouldn't necessarily want to go and search listings of Arizona Cardinals, shark tooth, Logo Athletic jacket. I want to just put in the basic version of it, and I might just put in vintage NFL jackets and then scour through those until I see something like this pop up where somebody listed it and they didn't add logo athletic, they didn't add shark tooth, because they didn't understand that those words were valuable in and of themselves. They just knew enough to know, okay, this looks like a 20-year-old jacket and it's probably worth, some money. When you go through and you search those listings and you're looking for things that are either misspelled because people, they don't know exactly how it's spelled, like Lululemon. If somebody misspells Lululemon, they're doing themselves a big disservice. Things that should be obvious, guys, but people make mistakes all the time and they don't always know exactly what they have. So this is a great example of that, where knowing every little detail that this jacket has is going to make it significantly more valuable than if you just put vintage jacket. So what we're really talking about, guys, is we're finding items that have missing information on the listings, and because of that, it's negatively impacting that seller's ability to get top dollar for it. We're buying those items and then we're relisting them with all of the key details that actually make that item valuable. So this jacket's a great example of that when we're talking about vintage clothing. Next, I'm going to jump over and I'm going to show you a piece that I just picked up on OfferUp in furniture that basically is allowing me to do the same thing here locally. And it's just examples of how this applies to a variety of things. No matter what it is that we're selling, there's the same concept that applies, and that's what I want you guys to really understand. It doesn't matter the items that you like to sell. If you use this principle of identifying those missing pieces and you know what you're dealing with to a higher degree, that's where there's a lot of money to be made, and it's money that you can make without having to hunt thrift stores. You can do it just by perusing through, while you're watching TV or some other leisurely activity. So it just gives you another great ability to source additional items on stuff that you're considering yourself an expert on or have a pretty good knowledge of. All right, let's jump over to the other piece now. All right, guys, so this piece here is one that I found on OfferUp, and this is a chair that was listed as side chair. Just 2 words. That's all that was listed on OfferUp, was side chair. Now, the info on it, she says really cool side chair in the description, and mentioned that she had 2 of these, but one was broken. So I immediately contacted her to go and snatch this up. And I ended up getting this chair and a second broken one for $25 total. What she didn't realize was that this is not just like a cool design side chair, but it's actually a very famous piece from the mid-century. And this is called a siesta chair. It's still in production from a company called West Nofa. There's a famous designer that made this, Ingmar Relling. And these chairs sell new from the manufacturer currently for over $1,000. Some of them, there's different models, but they're several hundreds of dollars. And even used in good condition, these sell for $400 or $500. But when I was able to find this for just the $25, I knew, okay, at a minimum I can make $100 on this chair if I just wanted to get rid of it really quickly. But knowing that I also had a second piece that I could replace a couple parts if I needed to, and just kind of get the absolute best version of this possible, then I intend to list this for anywhere between $250 and $300, and probably take an offer from somebody from there. But for a $25 find, the whole reason that I'm able to make money on this is because she didn't know enough about the chair to realize it was anything special or unique. She just thought it was cool, but she also realized, okay, it's an old chair. And that's what's funny, is a lot of times people think, oh, this is an old this, it's an old that, it's not in great shape, it must not be worth anything. But we know as resellers that old is synonymous sometimes with vintage, and vintage is synonymous with money in often cases. So on this particular item, I'm big on furniture. I like furniture a lot. I flip furniture, and especially mid-century furniture. So this was one that was just a really quick, easy pickup from somebody, $25, and I know that I can make anywhere from probably $100 to $250 on this chair, just depending on how patient I am, how much work I want to put into it, and yeah, when you have a little bit of space or room and you can sit on some of these items for a while, there's always a lot of money to be made for that same way. So just another example, if you guys like to also try and buy and sell locally from people in addition to doing things on eBay, this is the kind of thing that you want to keep your eye out for. And I do this with furniture, I do this with watches. There's a lot of kind of all over the board types of items that I've been able to use this same concept with to identify pieces. And I always do it not by searching for what I'm looking for. I didn't search for siesta chairs. I just searched for side chairs. And then I started going through and looking for things that stuck out at me and then trying to find out, okay, is somebody listing this for too little? And this is a classic example of that working and working really well. So guys, another reason I like going on Craigslist, OfferUp, and Facebook Marketplace for finding some of these items is that you do have a better chance of finding people who are not resellers and maybe just have things that they might even know they're much more valuable than what they're selling them for. They just don't really care. They're not selling them because they're trying to make a profit or anything. They're probably just clearing house. You also find people who are doing estate sales, getting things that they inherited and maybe the parent or whoever they got it from knew what it was and gave it to them and they didn't really appreciate it or understand what it was they were being given. Or again, they're not really into it and they're willing to part with it for significantly less than they could get. There's a lot of opportunities where, not just getting it from people who don't know exactly what they have, but also from people who just, they don't really care. The time is more of a hassle to them than what the money's worth, and they just want to get rid of it. They're just trying to clear space at the house, whatever it may be. But that's just another side note that, buying from other people as opposed to just hitting up the thrift stores, there is so much opportunity to make great money there as well, and just source more of the items that you're specifically searching for by being able to put those into a filter as opposed to going out and just hoping you stumble upon it. So if you guys liked this video, if you found it helpful, please hit the thumbs up button for me. Comment down below with any of your thoughts or any strategies that you guys have for finding more items of what you like to sell, making more profit on them. And then definitely subscribe to my page if you'd like to see more. Also in the comments you can let me know what future videos you'd like to see, or if there's anything that I can expand on. I may do a video on the benefits of selling on OfferUp and some of the local websites versus eBay if you guys are interested in something like that. But definitely share it down below, and until next time, I'll see you later and happy selling.